Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sunday Show Match series brought to you by Azo Monitors, iBuyPower Computers, Kingston HyperX, Cooler Master, and last but not least, Beyond Gaming. We're going to head into game number 2 right now and see if Morrow can come back. He's down right now, 0-1 in this series. Let's go ahead and check it out. So in the top right-hand position of Antigua Shipyard, we have the red Zerg, Leenock from FXO in the bottom left-hand corner. We have, not Khaldor, it's Mao's Morrow as the blue Terran. It is cross positions, Antigua Shipyard, so we'll see how this actually works out. And if these players, well, particularly Leenock, can overcome, I think, some of the advantages in late game that Terran has on this map.
I remember the game that Leenock played against MVP on this map, and it was just insane, especially the drop play of MVP. So if a Terran player really has all of that macro game, that multitasking, that he can drop at different positions at the same time while occupying his opponent with his main force, then Antigua Shipyard is really something that is very hard to deal with for a Zerg player, especially because it involves, talked about it already, about the fourth base, and if you try to expand to the right or to the left from Leenock's position, then there are just such huge distances that you have to cover with your army in order to defend against incoming drop play.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. A lot of times Terrans just wait until you get to 3 base, mass up to 200, take center control, and then all you do is deny 4th bases. And you can play your games out very easily like that, whereas Zerg, they're struggling to get their 4th base, their 5th base, and 6th base, but if they do, there is like a snowball effect where you just take all your bases, you gobble them up at the same time, and you're good to go. So we'll see if Leenock's able to do that. Right now, we do have a gas going down for Morrow. Now, there's been a lot of, differences in builds these days in TVZ. We've seen a lot of gasless expansion. We've seen a lot of gas expansions. I don't think there's particularly like a go-to build that's just better than the other. It's just these builds just, give different advantages to different points in time. I would say that this gas expansion definitely gives you a lot more map presence and map control with those not blue flame hellions, the red flame hellions.
It's actually kind of funny because I talked to Morrow about it a little bit, and he told me that every time that he plays Terran, he feels he's really sorry when it's only a best-of-1 play, because he told me with Terran he's just so much more flexible and he has so many different builds that attempt to achieve different goals in the early stage of the game that he wants to show them all off. And with Zerg, it's really kind of a straight-up game for him. So he really likes to play Terran against Zerg just because it offers him so many different builds that he can choose from.
Yeah, and that's the big advantage. I mean, I say Red Flame Hellion because that's the normal option that we see, but we've seen, something like Reaper, we've seen Blue Flame Hellion, we've seen obviously Hellion plus Marauder, we've seen Banshees, we've seen Medivacs. There's so many different things that you can go from here, but all in all, we are seeing Reactor. Still, there's a ton of different options that Terran can go from here. They can go fast push, fast expansion. The list goes on and on and on. And what can Zerg do? Just defend and get their economy.
Or just go for the mid-game attack that Leenock showed us in the last game.
True.
But obviously, this time we have a little bit of a bigger map. And the one thing that I found a little bit peculiar is I saw Stefano play against Marine King, and Stefano just annihilated Marine King on this map with his Ling Infester into Ultralisk style. And I talked a little bit about it with Stefano, and I said, yeah, you really like Antigua, don't you? And he actually said that he doesn't like the map all that much. And I found that a little bit weird, because if you want to play Ultralisks, you can definitely play them on Antigua. The spaces around those, around the bases, there's so much space and the areas are just so huge, but he says that exactly what we already mentioned, that expansion play is just so hard to control on Antigua sometimes, that even though it kind of favors his style, the style that he prefers, he doesn't like to play the map, and I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the one thing, I mean, the reason why his playstyle works so well, I think, is because even though he does like to do that pressure type of build, having the option to not go that, it definitely says to my opponents, hey, you can't just hard counter something like, a 2-base or 3-base heavy aggression. You have to defend against macro play as well. Whereas on Antigua Shipyard, Antigua Shipyard, you can just go for mass units yourself when you're up to 2 base or 3 base and just say, okay, I'm going to counter and play towards that end game stage. It makes for a really, really nice dynamic, obviously, and, well, on maps where obviously you can macro, it makes for a really nice dynamic. Antigua Shipyard definitely cuts that option quite a bit.
We have Morrow, by the way, now going for the fast third command center once again. He just lost one of the Hellions to Morrow's Speedlings, and now the Zerg player from Team FXO is going for the Sim City with just 2 evolution chambers at the choke point in order to make sure that the Hellions won't be able just to sneak into the main base. And Morrow already on, well, only on 28 SCVs in comparison to Leenock, who's at 43 drones. So quite a good job of Leenock at droning up. And once again, as we've seen on the last map, on the first game in this show match, we have him with a +1/+1 very, very early in the game, and even another bunch of drones before he starts with his lair tech.
Yeah, he really likes the double upgrades. I don't blame him at all. A lot of times, you know, this is the big difference in styles. A lot of players like mass mutas, other players like to go this macro hatch style, which we see from Leenock, and just own, you know, the ground basically with just amazing upgrades and a ton of units. And it's completely viable. It's just another train of thought saying, okay, I'm going to defend against everything with just the sheer amount of larva that I can utilize. If you're not doing any pressure, I'm going to be able to take advantage of that with a very heavy income advantage. Of course, it does give up in overall map control as opposed to getting Mutalisks. You can't keep your opponents in their base as much. They might be able to hard counter you, although it's not too consistent. But just another brand of StarCraft that I really, really like, and it shows you the depth, I think, of this game.
What's kind of interesting as well, by the way, sorry when I just trail off here a little bit, but right now we have Leenock for just a second building a Baneling nest, and he canceled it again and decided now after his lair tech to go for the infestation pit in the same position just to wall off a bit. So he was toying with the idea of utilizing a similar strategy than he did in the last game, but then decided not to go for a Baneling attack, but just go for the infestation pit and get the third, so a macro-oriented game that you've been referring to earlier.
Yeah, and let me also just limelight very quickly that Leenock has been focused more on getting the upgrades rather than getting the infestors. I mean, he did get kind of a little bit of attack coming in here. Zerglings are streaming in, but it will be backed out. But as I was saying, I mean, he did get a kind of a late 4 gas. He was sitting on 2 gas for quite a long time, and then he got the lair, and then he got the 4 gas. And delaying that for quite a bit does eat into your infestor count a little bit. You can see 2-2 is being upgraded. Zerglings are actually pushing forward. Are they able to... Oh, they might be able to catch off these Hellions. 3 Hellions go down. Nice little attack right there. But he's just running into no man's land. This isn't a great place for these Zerglings.
No, he definitely is not. They're just trying to retreat, finally getting away now. And so far Morrow is doing quite a good job, but the one thing that I have to mention is that Morrow so far didn't research his combat shield.
That's like a common trend today.
Yeah, it actually is. Every time we're casting a Terran versus Zerg, we should pay a little bit more attention to the combat shield, because we seem to catch all those games where Terran players actually forget about it.
Well, apparently it's just the Mouse players too, because it was Thorzane and now Morrow that's forgetting it, but kind of a funny little jab at them, but I'm sure he will start to upgrade that soon.
I hope so.
Crossing fingers, man, but for now, he's just going to sit back, relax. Obviously, he has no pushes. 1-1 is still on the way. It's trying to be finished. You can see bunkers going down. Ooh, Zerglings are actually pushing forward. He has to be careful with that. Doesn't want to lose too many Zerglings at this point.
Yeah, he retreats right away after he realizes that he won't be able to deal all that much damage with the Zerglings, especially given the fact that the siege tanks already have siege mode and are in position. But the destructible rocks at the back are now being attacked by the Zerglings, and so far Morrow has no idea of what's happening.
Yeah, this could surprise him very, very harshly, but he is putting up a supply depot wall. I do like this quite a bit. I don't know if it's completely circling tight over here, but look at that. He's just going to back off. Leenock still has the option to come over here. He can poop out infested Terrans if he wants to. But for now, he's just staying pretty static. For the most part, I'm sure he's just trying to take map control. The creep spread needs to be extended. And from here, look at that. Hive Tech at 13 minutes in.
Yeah, very, very early Hive Tech. And he has +2/+2 finished. He will certainly start to get... oh, he's getting Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers in his main base and natural third base. I like that really quite a lot. That's his way of dealing with that problem that Terran can't just drop you where they want, and this is very, very well done. So this is a little bit of a static defense that he has. Doesn't have to kill the drop, but at least it gives him the time to get there with his units so that he can deal with the situation. And now we see the Ultimus Cavern and Adrenal Gland, so exactly the style that we've described before, that also is preferred by Stefano on a map like Antigua Shipyard.
Yeah, I like that. And he's getting such a fast +3/3. He'll get that +2 armor on those Ultras, and they're going to be supercharged, especially against the Marines. That might be sitting at 2-2 at the time, so you're going 2-2 Marines against 5-3 Ultralisks. That means the Marines don't do nearly enough damage to take him down, obviously. But Zerglings are going to stream into this third. I don't think they'll do too much damage. Take down this bunker. There's just so many units out here for Morrow. He is researching combat shields. That'll be a lot better for him. There you go.
But in regards to the upgrades, you're perfectly right. We have the Ghost Academy now being thrown down for Morrow, but right now he's on 1-1 upgrades, and Leenock is researching +3/+3, is getting a 4th and a 5th base, and chitinous plating. So this is really a tough spot for Morrow to be in, especially with Leenock. Look at his creep spread. This is just amazing. He covered nearly half the map already.
And yeah, let me just say that Marines with 2/2, they only deal 8 damage. Ultralisks have a natural +1 armor, so you're talking about each Marine dealing 2 damage against an Ultralisk. Ouch. And if there are no Marauders in this army composition, Ultralisks are just going to tear through. Although, you know, Marines, they don't, if they're micro right, they can tank Ultralisks pretty easily. So it's just going to come down to how everything's positioned. Can you get fungal growths on, and how, you know, Leenock actually goes to engage this army.
Another weapon of choice for the Terran player will of course also be the Ghost with the snipes. We've talked about this when we cast different games in the past, that Ghosts are really, really good. Thorzane showed that time and time again. But at the right side of the map we have now another attack by Morrow. I was about to say by Khaldor because I just saw the nickname. And he is not able to take down the base. Oh, he's actually getting fungled with the medevac. And still he was able to kill a bunch of those probes, of those drones, 4 of them. But the medevac dies, and so do all the Marines.
Alright, so 3/3 has just hit right now. Chitinous plating is, I think, research. He does have Ultralisks on the field. Yes, he's at 5/3. That's 6 armor. Very, very deadly. Now, he can hit before 2/2 even finishes. That means Marines deal 1 damage. 1 damage against Ultralisks. So if you want to kill an Ultra, you have to shoot it with Marines 500 times at least.
Oh, look at those Banelings, at the burrowed Banelings. He's not using them.
Oh!
And another funnel finishes off the rest of them. Leenock is taking position of the middle of the map now. And we have two infestors, 2 burrowed infestors, just scouting everything and using infested swarm X. One of those tanks severely damaged is going down now. But we already have a bunch of ghosts as well. 6 of them and 3 additional ones being built. So snipe is definitely an option for Morrow now in order to take down Leenock's Ultralisks.
Unfortunately for Leenock at this position, or excuse me, yeah, for Leenock, there's a planetary fortress already up. Now I think what we'll see from Morrow is just defensive position. He's just going to put down as many bunkers as possible. He's going to put down these sensor towers. So important to put down the sensor towers. And he has a slow push. All he has to do is take center control. He can put down additional planetary fortresses for even more defense to soak up more damage, of course, and negate Zerglings as much as possible. Slow push, take control of this center, take control of this one expansion, deny completely, and then he'll be absolutely fine. But we're going to see a Baneling drop. Wow, and here we go. Khaldor is going to be it.
Oh, Morrow, what are you going to do? Leenock is streaming in, Morrow realizing what's coming, and he's sniping the overlords immediately. 2, 3, 4 of them are already dead, and wow, what a nice defense by Morrow. He killed nearly all of them. Just a few Banelings have been able to attack the army of Morrow. Very, very well done by the Swedish Terran/Zerg player.
Yep, a couple ghosts just poking up here. They're going to try to snipe as much as possible. This one, this one infestor is going to go down. But the ghosts actually died because of that. 2 ghosts for an infestor. I'll take that trade any day if I'm the Zerg. In the meantime, there is a hatchery that's going down on the top left-hand corner. Leenock actually had to misplace this hatchery, I believe. It's very, very far away from these mineral patches, but...
Double Spire coming up. Gretorp, double Spire for Leenock. He has the minerals, he has the gas to back it up. He wants to go for the Broodlords and the double upgrades later on.
Of course. And Zerglings kind of become obsolete at this stage, which is really difficult. You want to actually rely more on Broodlords and Infestors. Where is it?
Oh, look at the right. We have a nuke.
Oh, baby. And Leenock doesn't know these drones.
Oh.
They're going to be in a lot of trouble, man.
Oh, this is going to be brutal. And the nuke hits home. 15 worker kills for Morrow. Very, very well done.
Here we go, a little bit of pressure in the middle. I mean, let's be honest, Morrow is playing this absolutely fantastic. This is exactly how you play Antigua Shipyard. Positionally on this map, it's so difficult for Zerg to do anything at this point. But still, you have to pressure up as much as possible. We're seeing another nuke come out. There are 3 Ghost Academies, by the way.
I think he's going to hit the same spot again. He's probably trying to take down that expansion. He knows about it, and at the same time we have a couple of Marines attacking that expansion at the top. Morrow is just playing so well, getting 2 additional nukes now. And Leenock is stuck in the middle. He has all those ultras, but he can't do a thing. The ghosts are getting funneled now, so he has to fight. But there are way too many Marines. The Marines are on 3-3, and the ghosts as well, so he's losing everything. Leenock is losing ground to Morrow.
Yeah, don't forget that those Marauders deal so much damage. 26 damage with 3-3. Even though there is 6 armor, that's still 20 damage against an Ultra.
At the right side of the map, Gretorp. Again, the second nuke.
Oh my goodness. And this won't kill the hatchery. I don't think so, but it still does a lot more damage. And, you know, all he has to do is whittle this down over and over and over again. And the middle, oh my god, Banelings are going to be shooting forward, but they don't do any damage.
What an amazing split by Morrow. He's so just... Oh, this is just great. Morrow has such a nice unit control. He was able to dodge nearly all of those Banelings, and now he's taking control of the middle of the map of the Xel'Naga Watchtower and is able to target down the hatchery of Leenock. Wow, this is just great for Morrow now. He's using another nuke, a 3rd nuke at the right side to take down that hatchery and all the drones. That one ghost already has 23 kills. This is just such a nice play for Morrow now.
He's going to get so much more. Now 38. What a hero. And finally, Broodlords are made. Now, he doesn't have a lot of Infestors over here, but he does have 3 Queens to help out quite a bit. What is Morrow going to do? He has to back up all the way. He doesn't have the means just yet to actually defend against this. 5 Marines, 5 Ghosts, and 4 Vikings in queue. Under production, Leenock is actually completely barren. He doesn't have anything to his name. He has no... like huge mining bases, just that 3rd up there in the top middle. Meanwhile, Ghosts are just going to go away, keep sniping on top of these Broodlords. This is just a fantastic play by Morrow.
He's sniping Broodlord after Broodlord. At the same time, a small drop in the main base of Leenock, but the main force of the Zerg player is now under pressure. Morrow still losing a couple of tanks. He needs to be careful. The Ultralists are being sniped by the Ghost. The Ghost count is up to 19 right now. Another mining base for Leenock at the bottom right, but now in the middle, the major engagement. Here we have Leenock trying to end this game in his favor. 150 supply against 150. More snipes coming. And of course, we have also a bunch of Vikings helping out the Queens in the front, and this does not look good for Morrow. He's actually losing a lot, but there are only the Broodlords left, and with their army composition, Morrow should be able to take down everything that Leenock has right now.
An unbelievable finish to this game. Morrow is going to take it. He just cleaned up all air. WW comes out. GG. And Leenock falls, even though he got nicely ahead in that beginning stage. I think economically he was very well suited. He had the upgrades over his opponent, 5-3 on his Ultras when Morrow only had 1 WUD. Morrow able to outplay his opponent very nicely on Antigua Shipyard. That's the type of play that is just world-class champion. Morrow looks so good, man.
Yeah, even in the last fight, at some point Morrow nearly lost his whole army, but he killed what was really important. He killed the anti-air, and from that point on, all the Vikings that he produced in his main base could just stream in and sweep the floor with all those Brood Lords. From that point on, there was just nothing that Leenock could do anymore, because, as he mentioned, he didn't really have the bases to back up his strategy anymore. Yeah. He lost all his mining base except for the one at the bottom right, and Morrow was just way ahead when it came down to the income.
And that's what you can do, especially with the nukes not costing any supply. You can just nuke the expansions all day long. You don't even have to spend that much supply committed to eliminating those expansions. Just nuke after nuke after nuke after nuke, and just keep slowly pushing on that middle. You can even bunker it up. We didn't see that happen, but he didn't even need to do that. Morrow played that fantastic. So that's going to put him 1-1 in this show match series. I mean, I don't have anything else but good things to say about that. I think Morrow played fantastic. But Khaldor, any thoughts before we, or any last thoughts, I should say?
Well, Morrow played very, very well. On the other hand, Leenock, I think he maybe just missed that timing opportunity. We talked about the difference in upgrades, but Leenock was just... in this game, he made a few mistakes, but we've seen his skill and his class in the first game, so I'm sure that this show match series will hold a lot more games for us.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to game number 3 after this break. Don't go away. You're watching the NASL Sunday show match.